Hello everybody, this is Maya Zahira with Psychic Protection Sanctuary, and we are now live once again in our Spiritual Empowerment Community Facebook group. This is day 6 of our 7-day energy tune-up. So we have just today and tomorrow left, and just a shout out to, if you're watching at this point, you are watching the replay, so just a shout out to you if you're watching the replay on Facebook, or if you are watching the replay on YouTube, just saying hello and welcome. And you know, I forgot to mention this before, but with all of our Facebook Lives replays in the past, you're always welcome to go ahead and post your responses in the comments section, even if it's not live. So in the past, I normally haven't had part of a Facebook challenge on a Saturday, because people tend to have different schedules on Saturdays. So we'll see who all joins live. I know some of you will be watching the replay, but just in case, I went ahead and I planned that at the beginning of this, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card, so we're not just sitting here like listening to game show music waiting for people to join. So let's do that first, and then we're going to get into announcements, and then today's content, which is all about the brow chakra. That's your intuition and your insight. But before we get into that, I'm going to pick a card today for all of you, and it's from the Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer. And I have not picked the card yet. I'm going to in just a moment. And we're setting the intention that this card will help to give guidance for wherever you are in your life with this 7-day energy tune-up. So we do have some people joining live. As usual, go ahead and say hi and let us know where you're joining from. And while you're doing that, and also if you're watching the replay, tell us where you're joining from. It's great for everybody to participate. Anne is joining from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And right now I'm going to just shuffle our cards, and we set the intention that whatever card that I pick will help to give a message for everybody who is watching the live and the replays. And these are very basic cards. They have really cool messages, really cool pictures, very earth-based pictures. I tend to use decks like this as an intuitive springboard, since when I do psychic readings, I don't depend on the cards. I just use them as a springboard to activate some intuitive information or a psychic message for all of you. And Jeff is joining us from Shawnee, Kansas. We have a small but mighty group tonight. That's awesome. It's all good. So a lot of you will be watching the replay maybe tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon, when you're relaxing in your pajamas or having a cup of coffee on your front porch, right? Okay. All right, here's our card. Okay. First, I'll show it to you. Mountain. Strength. Oh, I knew this was going to happen. Hang on just a second. Hi, kid. How are you? She wants to say hello. Hi. We all get to meet the mascot. Hi. Isn't she beautiful? I have 2 kitties. The other one never shows up on camera though. Yeah, she's got a chubby little tummy. It's great for rubbing. Yes. Let's get into our psychic message, okay? All right. That was a brief little intermission. In case you needed like a little bit of relaxation and cuteness, then there you go. There's a little bit for you. So Carol, remind us all where you are joining from. And I'm going to just take a moment and tune into this card. Okay, so I'm going to just show you the card again, and then I'm going to go over some messages that apply to all of us as we're going through this journey. So you see these, we've got these evergreen trees. Carol says she's joining us from Parkville, Missouri. We've got these evergreen trees. Let's start with those. So this is a reminder that our goal by the end of this series is to really be connected not only to the earth but to the sky. So to spiritual, connected in spiritually, connected in with earth. Okay. And so far, I've done this intentionally. So far with our guided meditations, I may have done it once, but I haven't done it that much. I have not been connecting you, way up into the cosmos very much. We have focused more on connecting with the earth and then working with each chakra going up. I've done that intentionally just to encourage us all to stay really grounded. So many of us on spiritual journeys tend to check out unintentionally. We tend to go way up into the ethers, into the spiritual realms as a means of escape. So the goal here is to ground, really get rooted, but also be reaching up and connecting, reaching up, so to speak, and connecting with divine source. This card it says mountain and strength. So in this card we also do have some mist here. And so what is happening for many of us is that there are really tremendous things coming in your future, like big mountains, like literally majestic, wonderful things coming. But some of that is slightly obscured. So you're not able to see exactly what's coming. You're able to get a little bit of it, like, ooh, something really awesome is coming. I'm moving into a really good place in my life, but I can't tell. There's a little bit of cloud coverage. So don't worry. I'm being told that that's going to lift. Actually, within the next 3 months, you'll be able to see a lot more clearly exactly what's in front of you. And then we have, of course, the mountains. Let's see if there's anything else here. So the mountains, this is something that I think we talked about yesterday or the day before. The message that the mountains have for us is to practice being so grounded, so anchored and so solid, not just grounded like a tree, but like solid like a mountain. So solid in your essence of who you are that some wind isn't gonna blow you over. That no matter what kind of people or situations you encounter in your life, that might blow over a willowy tree, you practicing being in the essence of mountain, you'll be able to really stand strong no matter what people or life is throwing your way. So your advice for today is not only to really remember to stay balanced between connecting with earth and spiritual matters, but to practice being the mountain that, really stepping into that essence of the mountain. It's kind of like when we talk about animal totems and taking on aspects of their spirit. Well, this is an earth totem. So this is part of nature as well. It's not an animal, but it's a mountain. So taking on the essence of the mountain allows you to not only be grounded, but really firm and strong so that no wind can blow you over. And so I encourage you to use that visual imagery, use that idea step into that whenever you need to, like even standing with your feet a little bit wider if you're encountering a situation that feels challenging for you, just really taking on the demeanor of the mountain. And the mountain isn't violent and it's not lashing back. It's just being. The mountain is just yeah, it's just being, it's just existing. So that is your message for today. Mountain strength. Practice being the mountain. Yes. Okay. All right. So we had a few more of you join, and we have Heidi from Independence, Missouri, and Jeannie from Piper, Kansas, and Barbara from Easton, Kansas. Wonderful. And as I mentioned before, I live outside of the Kansas City area, out in nature, out on the Kansas prairie. I live on the outskirts of a farm, so it's really beautiful out here. I get to see tall prairie grasses, and I get to see wonderful sunsets pretty much every night, and lots of cool clouds and all sorts of stuff out here. I do often do Facebook Lives outside. I've opted to not do it for this Facebook challenge, but make sure that you join. Make sure that you stay in touch with this Facebook group, because I have at least a minimum of one Facebook Live a month in this group. I set the minimum low because sometimes I get really busy with clients, and I'm really good about not overextending myself and not depleting myself, which is really common in our culture. So that's just an example of me setting good self-care boundaries. But when I'm able to do more, I do more. So like this month, we're doing 7. So, and actually we're into August now. We'll have one coming up in a standalone one coming up in a couple of weeks. So again, oftentimes I will be outside for those, and it's just fun to just be able to see where I'm at and experience some healing from nature. Corey is joining us from Barryton, Kansas. So as I go into some announcements, I'd like to initiate a little bit of sharing right here. So is there anything interesting or exciting or notable that you have experienced as a part of this 7-day energy tune-up? We're on day 6. Have you noticed anything happening for you that you feel is a result of being a part of this journey? Have you had some aha moments? Have you started a new habit? Have you had some epiphanies? Have you had some breakthroughs? Are you experiencing some detoxing? Are you having old emotions or old thoughts coming up for you? What's going on? Let's do a little bit of sharing. And while I'm waiting for you all to comment, I'm going to go ahead and make a few announcements. Just a reminder that today we are working on the brow chakra aspects. So be sure to grab your pen and paper, and we are going to be covering that in just a minute. So stay tuned for that. And what else? So tomorrow is the last day of our challenge. I've already created a playlist on YouTube. I just created it earlier this afternoon and posted it in our Facebook group. So you can either go to the Facebook group or you can go directly to youtube.com, type in Psychic Protection Sanctuary to get to my channel, and you'll see there's a playlist specifically called 7-Day Energy Tune-Up. And the cool thing about that is that you don't have to go like scrolling. Even when I was looking for old posts, I had to scroll and scroll and scroll. It took forever for me to scroll down our Facebook group to find some of those older videos, like the first video. It would take forever to find that, and then you get frustrated and just forget about it. But this makes it super easy. You just go to the YouTube channel, Psychic Protection Sanctuary, and you can just look at the 7-Day Energy Tune-Up and click on Play All, and then you'll be able to go through all of them. You can, if you're joining us late and you've missed the ones at the beginning of the challenge, let's say you have an afternoon off, you can just chill, have a self-care day, and quote binge watch some of those past ones. And so anyway, that's a quick way that you can enjoy it. Let's see. Also, free gifts for today. Everybody who's here live, what did I write down? Free. Oh, out of everybody who's here live, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. At the end, I'm going to ask who is here, and you have to say here. That way I'm not like searching for people. And in the group of whoever is here at the end, I am giving a free gift, and it is a live, right here on the video, future forecast. So I'm going to pull some cards for you and see what the energy is looking like for you in the next couple of months. Those are really fun. I do those kind of readings at psychic fairs a lot. You know, they're a little more, you know, just like fun kind of readings. My favorite kind of readings are the ones where I'm helping you solve issues in your life and to live a better life. But I have started doing the forecasts because a lot of people at the psychic fairs are just there to have fun and just sample stuff. So I am really good at those. And so I'm going to go ahead and give one of those away for free at the end. And then in the homework thread for today's homework, which I'm going to post right after this Facebook Live is over, I'm going to choose 3 people in the homework thread, and I will choose them tomorrow, Sunday afternoon. And those 3 people, I'm going to, with your permission, I'm going to check into your energy and look at what your spiritual gifts are. You know, whether you are clairvoyant, like whether your strength is to see energy, feel energy, hear it, whether you're claircognizant, you're more into the gut feeling, whether you're someone who gets premonition types of dreams, or maybe you're more of a healer. There's a whole bunch of different spiritual gifts that people might have, and so I'll tune in and just see which one it's recommended that you focus on right now. I think a lot of people, when they're wanting to grow their spiritual gifts, they want to grow all of them. Like they see, like you might see how I'm working and I've got it all blended together. But that's just because I've been doing it for like over 25 years. For most people have just one area, or maybe a secondary one as well, that is their natural area of strength. And so it's good to start with your strengths. And so for your homework reading, I'm going to go ahead and pick 3 people. And if you have not won anything yet, be sure to, when you post your homework, let me know that you haven't won anything yet so you don't get left out. I will pick you first if that's the case. And I will do a reading to identify your spiritual gifts that would be recommended for you to focus on at this time. And then also tomorrow there's more freebies. I'm going to come up with a lot of fun stuff for tomorrow since it's the last day. I'm still brainstorming that. And also continuing from yesterday's free gift, the same free gift applies. If you feel drawn to work with me more deeply, then I invite you to apply to the Spiritual Empowerment Academy. It's a 12-month program that's online. We meet via video conference, and we also have a members-only Facebook group. By video conference, I mean not a Facebook Live, but that we all get to see each other. It's on a really cool format called Zoom. The free gift is that if you apply for that program, so if you feel a calling, if you feel a nudge, then go ahead and apply. And anyone who applies, you will receive a free 15-minute video session with me, a free psychic reading and or intuitive coaching session. We just flow with whatever is needed. This is where you get more information about this program. Go to my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, and under the events tab, you're going to click on Spiritual Empowerment Academy. And that's where there's a bunch of information, and you can click on the application there. Filling out the application does not lock you in. It's just allowing you to take the next step in following your inner guidance. And then once you submit that, we'll do your free session, and then after your free session, we'll also have some time for Q&A and just seeing if you want to definitely move forward with joining the program, and I'll be identifying whether I think you're a good fit as well, because that's really important. I only want you to join if it's a good fit, and if it's not a good fit, I don't want you to join. I want you to be on target with what's the best fit for you, and I want that for all of us. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will post all of the appropriate links in the description of the video. Okay? So, before we get into some comments, actually, let's go ahead and do this comment real quick. Jeannie says, that's a great idea, the YouTube channel replay. Yes. Yeah, it's real simple. It took me like 5 seconds to put it all on there. Easy peasy. Corey is joining from Barryton, Kansas. And Heidi says, this is in answer to my question of if you've had any breakthroughs, or how have things been for you during this 7-day journey. Heidi says, without getting too specific, yes, I have had a major memory come through that was from a very old lifetime. The understanding of this clearing is a pivotal healing occurrence. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Heidi. We've got Anne. Anne says, Elizabeth and I had quite the conversation about different things in our lives together. She mentioned that she knew about our financial situation too young. Instead of getting defensive, I stood in my power and said that she didn't get it from me. She agreed, and we discussed it some more, as in who and that how much things have changed, and it wouldn't happen now. Phew. So what I hear you saying, Anne, is that you spoke up in a situation where in the past you might have not spoken up because you would have felt uncomfortable or too nervous to speak your mind. And in this case, you not only spoke up, but you said exactly what you thought, instead of just taking responsibility for something that was not your responsibility to take. So that's wonderful. I don't know about you all, but that has been a real learning curve for me in my life. I think that like people tend to attract like. So I think that's why we have a lot of us in the group that have been learning about boundaries and communication for much of our lives. For me, I used to take responsibility for other people's stuff all the time because I was so nice. I would just apologize and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, even if it had nothing to do with me. So I can relate, Anne, and that's why I really empathize and feel how powerful that moment was for you. So thank you for sharing that. And Anne says, yes. Okay, so as we're preparing to get into today's lesson, make sure that you have a pen and paper. I've had some huge breakthroughs with this series, and I've talked about it a little bit the last couple of days. On your end, you probably observed that there was something going on with my voice, with my throat. There was. Oh my gosh. And as I say that, I feel like I have to cough. I think it's almost entirely moving out. Whatever that junk was. And I will just say this, because I think going into all of it would take way too long. There's a lot to my story, and I'll probably share it at some point somewhere, probably with my Spiritual Empowerment Academy students. But I will say that even as of today, I got some really huge breakthroughs about clearing and what's needed for clearing and healing a very tricky and difficult health issue that's related to my ancestry. And I can't say I have all of the answers yet, but this week, just being a part of this group energy, excuse me, just being a part of this group energy, I think really helped to activate some major clarity, not only some detox with the throat, but I actually had some visions and some downloads that helped me understand some really powerful things, and that I'm going to be able to integrate into the self-healing work that I'm doing on myself. And so that, to me, that's huge and super powerful. So it just goes to show that when things look messy, like powerful stuff can be happening. Holy cow, right? Corey has responded, and she says, actually, let me get the whole answer here. She says, I had some very intense and specific memories of home and childhood this morning. And for some reason, I have been very weepy today, and my right eye has been bothering me all day, feeling goobery and like my vision won't clear. So yeah, so I'm sorry for the discomfort. But it sounds like you are definitely giving permission. Some aspect of you is giving permission for some old emotional stuff to come up. So you're feeling it in your emotions, and it's also manifesting in some physical aspects as well. Corey is also an energy healer and Reiki practitioner. So I trust that you're going to do some really amazing self-care moving through your processing. So thank you for sharing. And I just want to say that with everybody, anytime you have something come up and you need some more support, some group support or some input, then definitely feel free to post in our group. So don't feel like I've activated you and then you're all alone floating, trying to figure it out. We're all here for each other. This is a really powerful group environment. So anytime you need a little bit of support or input, go ahead and post in the Facebook group. And one thing that's really helpful, and this is for everybody, one thing that's really helpful when you post something is to be really clear about what you're looking for. So if you're wanting to just get something off your chest, then you can say, I'm just wanting to get this off my chest. I'm not looking for advice. Or if you're looking for advice and ideas, go ahead and say, I'm looking for advice and ideas. Okay. And then the other thing is that if you're responding to somebody who's sharing their feelings or their experience, keep in mind that they might not be asking for advice. And I know that we're all coming from a really good place. We all want to help. But sometimes unsolicited advice does happen in all Facebook groups. And, with us being a spiritually oriented, more aware type of Facebook group, that's something that we can all practice. And it's something I try to practice as well. And, sometimes we don't know one way or the other if they're looking for advice or not. But it's just something to keep in mind when we respond to someone's comments in a thread. And if you're not sure, you can always ask. You can say, hey, I have some tips. Would you like for me to share those? And then, so asking for consent can always help. So those are just some ideas that popped into my head just now. And then also, as I've been scrolling through all of our amazing interactions from this week, that's one thing that we could do to help support each other even more. Okay, so speaking of support, we're almost to our new content, but I want to go over this. It's really important. If you are looking for more support, I want to make sure that you know how to get it, especially if you're new to me, but even if you're not. So no matter where you're watching this, Facebook, YouTube, etc., the first place where you can continue to get support is in this free Facebook group, Spiritual Empowerment Community. Spiritual Empowerment Community with Maya Zahira. And we're always here. It's always a free group. You can come on here, post, share your ideas, get inspiration, and just be a part of a group energy. So that's one way. Another way that you can continue to get support in your journey is to check out the Spiritual Empowerment Academy. That's the paid program that I mentioned before, Spiritual Empowerment Academy. And then another way that you can receive support is through a one-on-one session with me. Now, you may have noticed I haven't even mentioned those at all so far in our 7-day journey. And it's because my main focus with people is to help educate you to be as empowered as you can be. And then at times when you get stuck or things are super hard and you need that extra support, then that's what I'm there for. So I don't have one of those energy healing practices where I tell people come back every 2 weeks, unless it's a really, really serious issue. 99% of the time I don't encourage that, because it tends to encourage a codependent kind of relationship between the healer or the spiritual teacher and the student or client. And so just know that my goal with you is to help empower you, and that's why we're doing this 7-day journey together. If you feel like you're just like overwhelmed and you really do need some support, and you'd like to schedule a session, you can do that on my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, and click on the contact form. All right, enough of that. I want to make sure I covered all of that stuff today, since on the final day we're going to be doing a lot of talking about our free gifts and all sorts of other stuff. So we got all that out of the way. Today we're focusing on the brow chakra aspects. This is also called the third eye. A lot of people do know that this is the part of your energy center where you connect with your psychic abilities, but it's more than that. And Corey says, very much appreciate the support. You're very welcome. Thank you, Corey. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of brainstorming. Just like usual, we're going to follow the same format as the other classes. Grab your pen and paper. Remember, if you just don't bother to write it down, chances are you're going to forget about it and you won't, in the long run, get anything out of this process. So grab your pen and paper and write this stuff down. Brainstorming right now where you might feel stuck or out of balance and how. So your intuition, do you feel like your intuition is open or closed or stuck? Or maybe it's way too open and just going to like the grocery store, you're picking up on random stuff from people and feeling overwhelmed, picking up on people's thoughts, feelings, etc., then that would be out of balance. We talk a lot about empath issues in this group as well. That can be a third eye, a brow chakra issue. It can also be like the solar plexus as well. But generally speaking, whether you're an empath or not, if your brow chakra is too open and you're picking up on too much stuff, then you're out of balance. And then in addition to psychic and intuitive information in that energy center, this is also our mental center and where we receive insight. So by insight, for me, how insight is different than intuition. Intuition is like your psychic information that's coming through. There's no real reason why you know that information except that it's coming to you psychically. No one told it to you. You didn't read it in a book. You're receiving it psychically. But insight is a little bit different. It's your ability to be able to see clearly, without obstruction and without distortion, understanding the things going on in your life and in the world in general. So the distortions, I talked about those before. Distortions are where you've been hurt before, you've had other situations before, maybe that caused trauma or upset or stress or etc. And so when you see something similar in the world, it tends to get distorted and you think that it's that same abusive or hurtful or negative situation, even if it's not. So we have this like pain body filter that when someone says something to us that triggers one of our ouchie spots, it comes through, goes through our filter, and it might get distorted or mixed up a bit and turned around. So we're not really seeing what's really happening. We're actually seeing perhaps through the eyes of our past unhealed wounds, perhaps seeing through the eyes of drama, etc. So with this energy center, we want to ask ourselves, am I able to see situations clearly, or do I feel really glommed up with a lot of past baggage where it tends to distort my ability to see clearly? Now, there's no judgment. We're not judging any of this. We're just noticing. Just noticing if you feel like your insight is clear, or if it feels like it's difficult to understand the life situations. Okay? I'm going to give an example. So I don't feel like this is an issue too much for me now, but when I was growing up, when I was growing up, it was in a very abusive environment where there were really where boundaries were not honored. Things were really wonky. One of my parents had mental illness. I was adopted into a family where one of the parents had mental illness, and so there was a lot of like weird, crazy making stuff that was going on that didn't make any sense. And so as an adult, and I'm in my mid to late 40s now, but when I was in my 20s, I remember really having trouble in relationships and in situations, because when things would happen, it would go through this distortion field. I had been programmed to see through this filter that was like, it was just really distorted, and it was like my radar was a little bit broken, so that if someone was being abusive or dysfunctional, where they really weren't a healthy influence in my life, I wasn't able to see that. A lot of that would fly under my radar until I was deeply entrenched in the relationship, whether it was a friendship or working relationship or romantic relationship. And so I had to manually, like very consciously, work on healing that and clearing that. That's a brow chakra issue. So if you have past trauma and past abuse, it might be creating distortions in how you are seeing the world, where maybe you're seeing more drama where there isn't any, or where you've got your rose-colored glasses on and you're totally missing red flags completely. That second category was me. So that's insight. And then mental, this is also about mental energy. So if you feel like you get brain fog, mental confusion, like ADD kind of stuff, where you've got squirrel syndrome, like your brain is all over the place, or you're like, you see something shiny and you get distracted. So if you're easily distracted, if you're forgetful, that can also be a brow chakra issue. If you are overly analytical, so not balanced with the heart chakra, but like overly analytical. Being analytical can be good. We want to be able to analyze situations, but overly analytical, not so much. If you tend to overthink or over worry, or like worry about things, then that would be a distortion, an out of balance brow chakra. Another one would be, and I see this often in my work, if you are afraid to open your spiritual gifts. I work in I work in a lot of areas, but two of the special areas that I work in are, number one, helping people develop their spiritual gifts, their psychic abilities, and number two, helping people who are experiencing unwanted paranormal activity, unwanted spiritual experiences. And so with both of those categories, I've noticed that I'll talk with people who say that they're afraid to open their spiritual gifts because they had something uncomfortable or scary that happened when they were younger, or maybe they saw something that was scary to them, or an adult shamed them for expressing their spiritual gifts or something like that. So they just like blocked it off and created a brick wall. So that would be an example of a block. All right, so we've been chatting about this for a while. What ideas would you like to share? What, out of all that I just explained, what resonates with you? And while I'm waiting for those answers to come through, there's the next question is, what is one tangible action that you can do today to help to balance and open this brow chakra? So far, as we've gone through each of these energy centers, we've had all sorts of different little small tangible actions, like, you know, going and doing something, saying something to someone, having a conversation, doing self-care, those kinds of things. I'm getting this imagery though with the brow chakra. I'm seeing that there are some other things besides that, besides self-care, besides communication and that sort of thing, that could be helpful. I'm seeing essential oils, like rubbing some essential oils onto your forehead. Just remember that some essential oils are photosensitive, so don't put any of the citruses on your forehead and then go lie out and sunbathe, because you'll have a big red spot right there. And then also they're very volatile, so you might not want to put them directly on your skin. You might want to mix them with a carrier oil like coconut oil or almond oil, or some body lotion or something like that. Or you could use a gemstone, like a crystal, and just lie down and set that crystal on your forehead. Whichever one, you know, there's a million different crystals. We're not going to get into what all of them are today, but if there's one that you just feel drawn to, listen to that inner nudge and just relax and just let your third eye just soak up the gentle vibes. Keeping in mind that the third eye can be rather sensitive. So if you put a crystal on there that's really meant to like supercharge something, then you could end up giving yourself what's called a psychic headache. So just be gentle. Just be gentle. Okay, so we've got a question here. Corey says, what would that be? What would be let's see. Whoa, sorry, I can't read. Would that be what would be happening if I have seen the world constantly as a fearful place? So, yes. Okay, so I have kind of a mixed answer for that. So, if someone has had a fearful past or an abusive past, that can definitely create a distortion where then going forward in the future, as you're experiencing the world, you're seeing through those lenses of your past, so that everything in the future looks fearful in the world. Now, the reason why I say I'm going to give kind of a mixed answer is because, you know, with my insight, I see that the world is beautiful and it's wonderful. We have many wonderful things, but this is a harsh planet. So I am not going to tell anybody that this is not a fearful place to be. There's definitely a lot of harsh energies here and difficult things happening. And so even if your insight is clear and without distortion, it's very likely that you would be seeing a balance. So not everything through rose-colored glasses, everything is beautiful, we are all one, while you're simultaneously completely ignoring all of the starving people in the world and all of the hurt and everything, because it's just nice to be using those rose-colored glasses. That would be out of balance. And then just seeing everything as fearful all the time, like afraid to leave home, you know, just really jittery all the time. That would be out of balance the other way. So I think the truth of the matter is that there's both and happening on the planet. Anne says, and by the way, Corey, that's a really great question. Anne says, brain fog, memory comes with health issues. Brain fog and memory issues come with health issues. And Anne, your issue brings up something really important, and that if you've had an injury, like a head injury, or an injury to another part of the body where one of these other chakras is located, it can also create distortions, not by any fault of your own at all, but simply by creating some damage in the energy field. And so gentle self-care practices and just being patient with yourself is really all that you can do there. Anne says, it's always been a worrier. Oh, I've always, I need to look at my vision. I can't read today. I've always been a worrier, and too many things have distorted insight for me. Yeah, so I know for you, Anne, your practice is just self-care and just being patient, and you can imagine my voice saying to you, just breathe, just breathe. Corey says, how can we then balance trying to open up our intuition and third eye benefits with not having it so open that it causes the unbalance and seeing things through a distorted lens? So let me see if I can answer this. I hope I can answer it clearly. Opening your brow chakra is not what creates distortion. Okay, so opening the brow chakra is not what creates distortion. It's actually, I've got another little bug here today. It's actually past trauma, past hurts, or current stresses. If you're in a very challenging living or working environment that's keeping your energy very frenetic, so stress, high anxiety environments, you know, and past traumas. And we all experience traumas, like you know, there's traumas that we might consider small, but that impact someone in a huge way. And we may not have gone through, we may not have lived in a war-torn country where that's major trauma, but there are still traumas that happen to us that have a big impact. So trauma is the number one thing. Trauma, past hurts, all of those things can create distortions, and it's just a matter of you know, doing our healing work, doing these kinds of journeys, working on clearing little bit by little bit. So opening your brow chakra doesn't create distortions. It's all the past overlays. Think of them as, now I was a school teacher 25 years ago, and we had what was it called? These clear the overhead projector. It was you had this clear plastic paper thing, and you would write on it. It's you have one of those and another clear plastic sheet and another one and another one, and they all have writing on them with messages that have to do with your past trauma, and those are overlays, overlaying over the true essence, the true sight. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know it's kind of a complicated thing to explain. Jeff says, how to deal with a manipulative person who paints a negative picture of others without absorbing that toxic energy. Yeah. Oh, and Jeff, I did see a message come through from you, and I will make sure to answer that after we are done. I want to let you know I saw that. So let me just look at your question again. So this is really, I'm going to give the same answer that we had, that I gave, was it yesterday or the day before? We were talking about the mountain. So this is less about your brow chakra, Jeff. It's more about being grounded. So for you, I'm seeing really being grounded and also working on solar plexus, so that no matter what a manipulative person says or does, you are so anchored in who you are that they can say or do anything and it doesn't blow you over. So you are the mountain. Okay, so that's, I think it's blurry. You are the mountain, okay? So that person is having a lot of distortions, perhaps in their brow chakra and perhaps in their throat chakra and wherever else. You can't necessarily fix them. You probably can't. All you can do is just really ground yourself, reinforce your solar plexus chakra, and you know, with someone like that, if they're manipulative or abusive or perhaps exhibiting narcissistic excuse me, or sociopathic types of tendencies, then you might need to reduce or discontinue contact with that person, because they're just going to keep psychically attacking. I mean, that's really what it is. It's a psychic attack, whether it's verbal or energetic, and that's just how they're operating in the world, because of that's how they learned to do it. That's a behavior that they learned. They learned that that's an effective way for them to get things that they want. I'm not saying that it's healthy. It's not healthy. Excuse me, but it is what it is. It's what's happening, and best way to protect yourself is to be the mountain. So you're going to have to get really zen with that mountain work. Melissa says, I get headaches a lot. So, excuse me. If you get headaches a lot, there can, of course, be a medical reason, or it can be your eyesight that you need, just speaking generally, Melissa, that a person might need eyeglasses, or they might need to update their prescription. It can also, the headaches can also indicate that the brow chakra is too open, so you're getting a psychic headache. And if that's the case, then just with your awareness, you just imagine this getting a little bit smaller, or if you're in an environment where there's really harsh energy. I was somewhere where, oh man, I turned, let me get a drink. I turned the air conditioner on. Oh. And it's getting really cold in here. And that is a trigger for my throat. Give me a second, you guys. I've done so good. So, I was at a place where they were playing, like blasting the music. Really boom, 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 boom. And I could feel it just blasting into my third eye. Excuse me. So I had to leave the environment. So that's what I had to do, because it was too much. So for those of you who are doing psychic work like I'm doing, going to like rock concerts and things like that, like it's a little too much for me. So I have to be careful about the environment that I'm in. Oh my gosh. Hang on a second, you guys. I know this is unusual, but I'm going to turn the air off. Oh, thank goodness. I'm back. Okay. I don't usually get up in the middle of a Facebook Live. But that cold air was getting to be too much. And Anne says, you're right. I breathe and have been working on lessening my list of things to worry about. I choose to be happy and enjoy the rabbits, birds, and dragonflies. That's awesome. Excuse me. So right now I'm just doing some clearing on myself. Jeff says, got it, thanks. Chakras tend to blend easily. Yes, they do. This is the most talking that I've done since yesterday. So that's what's happening. Okay, so what's a tangible action that you can take? Go ahead and write that down in your notebook. tangible action. Excuse me. Now it's time to do our guided meditation. So wherever you're sitting, take 3 slow, deep breaths. Breathing slowly. That's better. In through your nose and out your mouth. Bringing your energy back into your body. Fully embodying your physical form now. Bringing your spirit back into your body. Just breathing. As you breathe, consciously connect with the earth. Yes, you are spirit, but you are also human. You're both. We do not need to negate one in order to realize that both are true. You are spirit, but you are also of the earth. And so you connect with your source, with the earth, connecting, sending a cord from your root chakra down into the earth. And then feeling that nourishing energy flowing up to you. And as that earth energy flows up, it flows through each of your lower chakras, through your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your brow, and all the way up to your crown chakra, just spilling out the top, connecting all of your energy centers. And from here, we visualize a triple grid of protection around the boundaries of your aura. Visualizing a grid made of blue light in a big bubble shape surrounding the boundaries of your auric field. And now, focusing on your breath, using your intention, and also calling on the assistance of your divine support team, your ancestors, your guardian angels, your spirit guides, your animal totems, your plant teachers, your earth teachers. We call them all in and ask for assistance. We ask for clearing and balancing and healing of any blocks or distortions in our intuition and our psychic abilities. Clearing out any past beliefs or past situations that may have caused us to block off our gifts, knowing now that when our psychic gifts are open, we're able to discern what's going on in our environment in order to be empowered and safe. So we allow our intuition to open gently at whatever pace we're ready for. And then we also gently release any excess energy in this brow chakra, releasing any headaches, releasing any tension, any stress, any overthinking, or any tendency to be overly analytical. We also release any closed-mindedness or distorted beliefs. We release any overlays that may be distorting our understanding of life and our world, asking that those overlays be gently released and dissolved so that we can see the truth about situations. We ask that our spiritual gifts be gently opened at whatever pace is right and ready for us. And now repeat after me. I see clearly. I see clearly. I see clearly. And then I see the truth. I see the truth in all situations. I see the truth in all situations. Just knowing that you see through distortions, illusions, and you're able to easily see the truth for your highest benefit and the highest benefit of all. We now call in the color of this chakra, which is a deep indigo blue, like blue jeans color. And we visualize that this color is above your crown chakra. It's just pouring down gently, streams of this blue energy pouring into the crown chakra and into the brow and then through the body, just flowing to wherever it's needed and flowing out into the auric field as well, strengthening and clearing and bringing you more clarity in your psychic gifts. And you can even breathe in, inhaling that color, drawing it into your cells. This is a very powerful color. You know, to me, it almost seems like it's a combination of throat chakra energy, where you're standing in your truth while also seeing the truth and knowing the truth. So it's really this color of personal power, different than the yellow solar plexus. This deep blue infusing through your whole energy field. Just breathing that in, allowing it to flow through you so much that it's even coming out your fingertips. And now taking 3 slow, deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Excuse me. And now we're going to do our free gift. So get ready to type. And I want you to tell me if you are still here, because I'm going to choose someone who is still here to do the future forecast. And because I've outdone my voice tonight, I'm going to actually, let me see, should I go ahead and do it on here? Nope, I'm going to go ahead and talk it. I think we can keep going. So let me know if you are here, and I will pick from whoever's here to do our future forecast. I'm going to grab my cards. Now that we made it through the coughing fit, did I lose some of you? Let me know if you are here. And just a reminder about, good, I see some of you are here. Good. Just a reminder about answering your homework, because I'm going to pick some winners from the homework thread, and also remembering to go to YouTube and type Psychic Protection Sanctuary in there in order to I just lost my train of thought. That doesn't happen. Wow. And we're doing brow chakra. So go to YouTube, type in psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, type in Psychic Protection Sanctuary. Wow, that was weird. And you can watch some of the videos on there. I don't know. I went into a weird zone there for a second. I completely was talking and then lost what I was saying. And then, so the other free gift, if you would like to join my 12-month program, be sure to go to psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. Click on Spiritual Empowerment Academy. Wow, that was weird. I must have gotten just a little tune-up from doing that guided meditation with all of you. And then, excuse me, kind of like when you install new software on your computer, and then you have to restart the computer in order for it to work right. I think that was what just happened to my brain. Okay, so let's see who all we've got here. Excuse me. We've got Melissa, Corey, Ann, Jeff, Melissa, yeah. Okay. Give me just a second. Okay, so Corey, you are the winner for the forecast. Hi, Barbara. And we're just going to do like a really quick mini reading. All of these readings that we're doing as the free gifts are super mini. They're not in-depth readings like we would do for a paid session. And Corey, we're just going to look at the next 3 months. Okay, I'm just pulling some cards. Okay. All right. Now, I've pulled a card for the next 3 months, and I also pulled an additional card, Corey, to give a suggestion for some challenge energies that I saw coming up in the cards. So, and it all looks good, actually. So the first, how we're doing the forecast is we're looking at August 1st. This is like, how I do an energy forecast is, it's like the weather. What's the energy weather going to be like in your life? So if it's going to be like sunny, and beautiful weather, then it's a lot easier to have a picnic on that day. If it's going to be stormy, then it's going to be more challenging and you might want to wait for another month, etc. So looking at how the energies are looking for you this month, we have the Universe card. And what I get for you in this case, this makes total sense, is that right now you are really focusing on spiritual matters. I don't know when school starts up again for you, but right now your energy is all about working with your spiritual gifts. I'm sure there's a part of you that's like back to school time, but that's the energy. That's what this month is all about, is exploring your gifts. But then, so that's August. September, let me see, do I need to say anything? Oh, I do want to say more about August. I'm also getting, there's a tendency to, I'm feeling here to be a bit spaced out. And you've got so many thoughts. So it's going to be important to anchor. Oh, it starts August 6th. Okay, so it starts really soon. It's going to be important to anchor. You have a lot of ideas, not just spiritual ideas, but all sorts of ideas and to-do list and everything. And so going so many different directions, you've got to really focus in. You might use that app that I recommended, Todoist, TODOIST.com. When I first heard about it, I thought it was to-do list, but it's Todoist, IST. Whatever you need to do to like compartmentalize and just get this done, get this done, because otherwise your mental energy is getting really dispersed. Excuse me. And then we have September and October have very similar energies. So we have a lot of mental stress here. We've got obstacles and challenges. That's indicating that the energy feels stressful. Let me just double check here. And that stressful energy is, I'm checking, it's not necessarily about home life. It's more about work. And it feels like the very beginning of October, excuse me, feels very similar to August. But then all of a sudden, I don't know what changes, if there's some other responsibility or something that starts where it just feels like a crunch time. And then we have the same energy. It says it has different words, but it's the same energy going on in November. And so that cycle is lasting more than 1 month. Let me just see here. It doesn't have to do with the kids, with your students. I mean, yeah, there's always stress with the students. It doesn't have to do necessarily with the workload. It has to do something with like administration, or how things are set up administratively, like red tape kind of stuff. So whatever that is, red tape kind of stuff, that it just feels like it makes the work harder. So I do have some answers, some suggestions that are coming in, but I did pull a card to ask what, for suggestions and what might be helpful. And we have this light card, and immediately I got, for you to remember that you are the light. The other energy or red tape or rules they might exist, but you are capable of bringing, like literally bringing energy work and light, like filling your classroom with light, sending light to the people that you're interacting with, sending light, sending Reiki to whatever this annoying red tape is, to help loosen it. So you have, like, I think the tendency will be that you might go into stress and kind of get stuck into this. But it doesn't have to be quite this bad. You, with having this heads up, and having a heads up can be a good thing. Having this heads up, when this starts to happen, when this new energy starts to come in, you'll be able to remind yourself, oh yeah, be the light, Remember that you can do Reiki on all of these situations, because I know you're a Reiki master. So that's a big tool in your tool belt. That's how you're going to bring light to the situations. And I am feeling very strongly like that in itself. Well, first of all, you utilizing Reiki to help with these situations. And second of all, you not getting sucked in to all of the stress, but staying grounded and being the mountain and remembering who you are and remembering the abilities that you have to activate light. So it's both the act of doing Reiki and you being the mountain and remembering to not get blown over by whatever this red tape is. I really feel strongly that those two things are going to help reduce whatever this red tape headache annoyance is. It's going to reduce, you being in your power and being the mountain is going to reduce that impact by 50%. So even though there's a challenging energy coming in September and October, there are definitely things that you can do to help ease that in ways to where it feels like if you do your practices, that by Thanksgiving break, it feels like I see you sitting back on your vacation, your time at home, putting your feet up and feeling like you've had a job, feeling like it's been a job well done, that you had a challenge and you faced it and you succeeded. So by the way, when I do readings, I don't sugarcoat anything. So if I felt like this situation could not be improved upon, I would definitely tell you that. But it does feel like you can improve it a lot, by 50%. And yeah, it feels good. So Corey says, wow, thank you for the heads up. Yeah, so this is just how the energy is looking now. With everybody utilizing their own free will, moving forward in the directions that they're moving forward in. This is how things are looking right now. Energies can always shift. You know, even now, you could start to send Reiki to, your entire first semester of school. Now that school's getting ready to start in just a few days, actually. Every night you could send energy. And actually, I'm seeing that if you started now, that can help reduce that challenge energy 60 to 70% rather than just 50. So be proactive, work on it now, not coming from a place of fear or anything like that, but just awareness and heads up. And let's just take care of this. And either way, we're just going to help make the energy softer and more lovely. You actually have some really wonderful students that you're going to be working with this year. You've got a few that are troubled, but that you are going to touch very deeply. That I can feel some hurt going on within them, but I feel like you're going to really make an impact with them. So it looks like a really good school year, and I wish you all the best with that. Corey says, thank you so much for the reading. You are welcome. Excuse me, clearing my throat. As one person said, I'm starting my engine. Okay, so we're all done. We went a little bit longer today because I wanted to go ahead and do that reading. And so I'm going to go on right after we finish this Facebook Live. I'm going to post our homework. And anyone who participates in the homework thread, I'm giving 3 people a reading to describe what your spiritual gifts are, what your main focus should be at this time. And those are really fun. I love doing those. And then join me tomorrow for our final day. We're going to have more freebies and more free gifts. And as always, remember, you can post and receive support on the Facebook group, Spiritual Empowerment Community. And of course, you can always go even more deeply and receive ongoing support in the Spiritual Empowerment Academy. You can look that up on my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. Click on it underneath the events tab, And if you apply, then you'll get a free 15-minute session with me. And of course, that's for serious applicants only. I think that's it for our class today. Tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on the crown chakra, and that's the energy center at the top of the head, and about integrating everything. And it's going to be really fun. So I will see you then. See you Sunday evening, 7 p.m. Central Time. Until then, sending you all my love. Bye.